Hello students, and welcome to your third assignment in the Week 4 folder. This assignment is titled Week 4 Lab, Determining Half-Life. We are going to focus on what half-life is and how we can represent that using everyday items. In order to access this folder, you'll need to click on the Week 4 Lab, Determining Half-Life title link, and that will bring you into the Week 4 Lab content folder. You'll see once you get in that there are two helpful videos that help describe what half-life is and how we can show half-life on a graph and even determine half-life from a graph. So make sure that you watch both of these videos so that way you can get the background information before you start doing the lab itself. Once you're ready after you watch the videos, you'll scroll down and notice the assignment is down here. You're going to click on the Week 4 Determining Half-Life Word document that's attached. That will download for you. You'll notice my downloads are down towards the bottom left. That's because I'm in Google Chrome. If you're in a different browser, they might go up towards the right corner. Wherever your download is, if you click on the download, that will open up for you into a Word document. Make sure that you're able to edit the document. If you notice that there's this yellow bar towards the top, you have to click Enable Editing, and that will allow you to edit the document as you need to. The goal of the Week 4 lab is determining half-life. So we're going to pretend we have unknownium, which is some type of radioactive isotope, and our job is to figure out the half-life of this isotope. There are two parts to the assignment. The first part will require you to have some materials. Now you need to have 100 of something that's the same. And your something should have different sides to it. So for example, you could have 100 pennies, or you could have 100 dimes or nickels. If you have M&Ms, you could use M&Ms or Skittles. Anything that would have one side different than the other. Another one would be sweet tarts or other forms of candy. So you want to make sure that you have 100 of something. That's the first thing to do or to gather. You'll need a large cup that can hold your 100 items. So you want to make sure whether you have to use a large mug or you could use a plastic cup, whatever it is that you're using, just make sure that you're careful if it is breakable. And then you're going to need a writing utensil and paper. So those are going to be the three big pieces of material you're going to need in order to do this lab at home. You're going to follow the procedure, which is going to involve you shaking these pieces of material that you have in a cup and then pouring them out. And you're going to have to sort out the atoms that decayed. And the decayed atoms are going to be whatever size you choose. So for example, let's say I have pennies and I decided that pennies that have the head side up are decayed isotopes. I would count the head side up pennies and then pull them out so I don't use them in the next couple of steps. Or if you're using M&M candy, the side with the M on it, I would take those candies out because those would show that they decayed. So it's entirely up to you on what side you use. It just has to be the same for every time you do this. You'll write down how many isotopes decay, and then you'll keep track of how many you have left, and you'll go through until you have none left or one. Then you'll scroll down, you'll notice there is a data table here if you wanted to keep track of these trials on the Word document. You can do that as well. If you need to add more rows to your table because you have more than 10 trials, you would highlight here, and then it does give you the option to insert. And then you could click Insert Below, and that will add another row as you need it. So it's entirely up to you if you need to add rows to your data table. The next piece is going to involve you creating a Microsoft Excel graph of your data table. And there is a how-to video on how to do this within that folder in Blackboard, so it's one of those videos that you watched. If you need help with this, make sure to rewatch that video or meet with me and collaborate, but ultimately you do need a graph of your data. Now you'll repeat this lab 2 more times, except you'll start with different amounts. So the very first time you do this, you have 100 items. The next time you'll have 50. And then the very last time you'll start with 30. So again, you'll go through this process 3 times, each starting with different amounts, 100 for one trial piece. The next time you go through this lab, you'll start with 50 items. And then the last time you'll start with 30. Each one will have a graph, so you'll have 3 data tables and 3 graphs. And then at the end, once you're done making your graphs, you will answer these questions here. There's 5 post-lab questions. And then you'll answer those, make sure to answer in a different font. And then when you have all of this done, you're going to want to save this to your personal desktop or OneDrive and make sure that you have the information that's needed. So again, 3 data tables, 3 graphs, and the post-lab questions. Your numbers for the 3 times you go through this experiment should not be the same. So make sure that you are going through each piece of this assignment and following through the entire way until you get to the end of that. So you don't want your data tables to be the same. You might have 1 or 2 trials that'll have similar numbers, but the whole thing should not be the same. Once you're done with this and you have it saved, you're going to go back into Blackboard. I'm going to hit Don't Save because I didn't change anything on here. And I'm going to go back to my Blackboard class. And then in order to submit this assignment, you have to come back to the Blackboard class and click the Week 4 Lab Determining Half-Life title link here. That will bring me into the Dropbox. You can scroll down and select Browse My Computer. You'll find your lab that you're going to attach. For example, I'm just going to click a file to attach it and show you how. You'll hit Open, and that will attach it here. If you need to make any comments, you can write them here. And then once you have all of your files or your comments added, you'll hit the blue Submit button for grading, and that will submit it to me. If you have any troubles with this or you need to meet with me and collaborate, make sure to email me or you can drop in during my office hours. Otherwise, when you're done, you can go ahead and move on to the last assignment in week 4.